Hi everyone, welcome back. Bit of an update here in the RX7. Yes, it's the 30th of January. No, we're not at the racetrack. So let's get into this video and explain why. Right, for those that didn't catch it, last video at the end we said we're going to see you at the track on the 30th of January, which is today. Unfortunately, Heathcote Park didn't quite get their concrete walls done in time. Now, absolutely huge task. I didn't believe that they could get it done in time anyway, because they're laying basically 1,700 metres of concrete wall, and conditions have been absolutely totally inhospitable. It's been like mid-30s, and I think it was raining sometime in the middle of the week as well. We had Australia Days there and that too. So yeah, huge effort by those guys to get that stuff down there. Track just keeps on improving in leaps and bounds. You know, there's one thing for people to always say they're gonna, oh, we're gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. And you know, it's like with project cars, you get those people out there who are just the gunners and shoulda, woulda, couldas and that. But Lance and the team out there are absolutely kicking goals all the time. They say they're gonna do something and then it gets done. So hats off to them. Take as long as they need, as far as I'm concerned, get that track all set up, ready for the races. And yeah, looks like at this stage, 6th of Feb, so that's next Sunday, we definitely will be out there. So in the meantime, it's given me a bit of time to do some of the little 1% things on this beast here that I probably wasn't going to have time to get it done by today if I was going to race today, which is good. So just take you through one of those things now, which is, is something that I'm ultra paranoid about. So one of the things I'm ultra paranoid about in any car that I've ever raced before is doing a wheel stand and it coming down and totally ruining the car. Now, the 626 had wheelie bars on it, so that counteracted that. This car's on a radial, and fair bit of stigma around radial tyres and wheelie bars, and that's cheating, and it's not in some of the rules. You know, you're allowed to use wheelie bars and that. So this car doesn't have wheelie bars, because just in case we ever want to race in some class someday that says you can't have wheelie bars or whatever, so we don't have them. My paranoia comes in that if you follow my eyes here, you can see this point. This is the radiator. This is the bottom of the radiator here. Now, if I was to take a level and measure from here to basically where the sway bar is, or the cross member, the engine cross member, it's almost level. It's just above. It's maybe about 5 mil just above that. But with the way the body's going to come up, you know, if it comes up like that and it slams down, that 5 mil probably get taken up pretty quickly, and it's, you know, got the potential maybe to slam down on that radiator, which means no more racing, possibly no more racing for everyone else for quite a while in the day while they clean up my mess, and then having to repair the radiator and all that. So I see this happen quite a lot to cars out there. You know, when they do big wheel stands, they come through and totally obliterate everything. So I always thought why cars like this maybe potentially don't have you know, almost like a bump stop sort of setup on it. So what I'm looking to make is, you see off here on the chassis rails, there's nothing here at all, and same on the other side, there's nothing up here. So what my plan is to basically weld some round tube here. So put a bracket on here, round tube, and then a kind of bump stop basically that sits, I think this point here, lowest point to the radiator here from the chassis rails is 70, it's like 70-ish mil. So my plan is to have the bump stop basically in just about 80 mil. So then if the front does slam down, that bump stop basically absorbs and takes all the force. And even if it breaks, who cares? Like, if it breaks through absorbing that force and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't hurt the car, nothing in the car gets hurt, then it's a massive success. So let me just give you a bit of a look at what I'm talking about here. And this is pretty much it basically. I've got a quite a hard rubberized sort of stop I'll weld a nut on the underside of this. This will bolt to that, but this will be welded to here, and then this tube will be welded to here, and then I don't know if I'm going to weld it to the chassis yet, or just make this, or just bolt it in. There was some pretty big M8, I think they were, bolt up there, so I might just bolt it, so if it's ever damaged I can just replace it, but bolt it in here, and then this just bolts onto that, and then that is that. So essentially what will happen is if I take this back over to the car, so what will sort of happen is this will be sitting like here, and yeah, if the car comes down, it'll come down in this and bang, it'll hit that, and it won't there won't be an issue. So going to work on that, and yeah, let's get those welded in and see what they look like. Right, so here it is, the finished product. There it is. And yeah, you can see now it basically sits right on the level of that lip there. And it's going to be ultra hard to see, but it sits just below this. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I never actually have to find out if it does its job, but it's just a little bit of peace of mind there that if it does happen to pick the wheels up, that if it comes down, it's going to hit and destroy those first and absorb that impact rather than anything else under the car doing it first. So, all right, let's have a little bit of a look at some of the other stuff we're preparing now that we've done to go racing, and should just about do us. Right, so some of the last minute things I had to get done in here. First one was wiring up the line locks. So if you have a look at the dash here, what this allows us to do is I can build brake pressure to what I want, say 500 PSI, click the button, and it's going to hold that pressure there, and then I release the button and pressure back to 0. So that'll just enable really consistent burnouts. So yeah, click gears, you know, start your burnout, you're in first, bash it to third, and then I'll release the button and it'll push itself through the burnout anyway and that. But that's all good. Got to get used to how this shifter works. One of the other things did was, you can see here, another fire extinguisher. So obviously I have the full fire system, which is activated by pushing that button. But I just wanted the extra bit of, you know, safety, security sort of thing that if there is a fire in a car next to me or something, or just a small fire, you know, I might, where, you know, I can see maybe there's a bit of smoke under the bonnet, instead of just pulling the full fire system straight away, because there's sort of no coming back from that. If I could, you know, quickly get out of the car and take the, have a look at it, maybe investigate it first, you know, I can maybe put it out with the little fire extinguisher and do a little cleanup rather than doing all this and then having the expense of refilling the bottle and cleaning the whole car out and all that kind of stuff. So I think last part here that we did do, which is super important on a day like today, and the day that it looks like maybe the 6th may be, which is over 30 sort of degrees temp, is you'll see here on our keypads, which is wired up through the hardwire PDM just there. I have 2 switches that are windows here and 2 here. This is my keypad for everything that I want to reach really easily while I'm strapped in. And this is all, I can reach this easily as well, but this is more just the secondary sort of stuff. So these are power window switches. So this is a street car if we were maybe in the Florida or something. So you need your power windows, and they go down and they go up. They just light up when it happens, and done. And these ones work too. And that is going to be a massive help when you're sitting in the staging lanes. One of the last things I've done too is I put in a fill panel in here that's white now instead of whatever colour it was, and it's also got the battery pull there for turning the battery off remotely. Catch can's all done. Also now has a intake for the diff. Wish I had that there actually hooked up before we went to G-Force instead of making a mess, but whatever. And also for the trans. So everything basically, engine breather, diff, trans, you name it, all yeah, all comes back to here. So I've got one central location to get everything out of the puke tank, and of course we've got the little bit of clear tube there that we put on there so we know how full or empty it is every time we do a pass. Yeah, so no reason we shouldn't be out on the track on the 6th, which is next Sunday, which is good actually because as far as I'm aware, hopefully it goes ahead. And the Saturday is actually a sportsman event, which means big tyre cars and stuff like that. So hopefully they put down a bit of rubber and clean up the track and everything. So by the Sunday test and tune, it's all the stuff that might be on the track from last month, sort of, so to speak, of downtime and work that's gone on there might be all cleared up and ready to go. Now, we're going to try and rotate the earth with this thing first meet out. We've got to get a start line tune up on it, but at the same time, I've got 15-pound springs in the wastegate, so I can't run less than 15-pound boost on the start line, which means you know, we'll have to play with launch RPM if we can't get it to hook off the line and stuff like that. So first part is, yeah, getting it to 330 foot as fast as we sort of can, and then getting it to the 8th mile, and then in a couple of weeks and a couple of meets, we'll then probably trundle it down the quarter once everything's taken care of itself in the front end of the track. Because realistically, we put as much power as we can in the front end of the track. The back end of it will sort of just happen, so to speak, but it's also where it's most likely to blow up. So want to get a really good indication to the 8th mile of what it's capable of, because we know if we know what it's doing to the 8th, we'll probably get a really good idea of what it is capable of doing to the quarter on that kind of power where it's at. So yeah, all in all, it's yeah, really looking forward to it. Less nervous about racing than dyno tuning, to be honest. I think just all the other factors of racing and being behind the wheel and doing everything, it's less controlled and it's more sort of variables. On the dyno, it's all the pressure is sort of on you to perform and do your job. So if things go wrong, there's no one else to blame but yourself. But at least at the racetrack, you can blame other things like, you know, it was a hot track or the track wasn't there or whatever and this and that. So don't mind having a lot of excuses from time to time when things don't go quite right. So I think that's about it. So yeah, this will be it. Hopefully next video we have out will be maybe a debrief of some of the data we go through on our race day. Until then, don't forget first of all to check out the racing video and racing action over on Full Boost, and then yeah, after that we'll have a bit of a deep dive into our data. Until then, see you next time.